Welcome to Kerusi Panas, Sabah. You're here with Bridget Welsh, and this is episode 9, Hot Seats, Sabah's PRA. This will be the last episode that I focus on specific seats. I've decided to bring the urban and the West Coast discussions together. In fact, the town of Kota Kinabalu is in the western part of Sabah and is seen to be part of the West Coast. To understand the West Coast and the seats and the contestation that is taking place here, one has to look at the center of the West Coast, and that is Kota Kinabalu, colloquially known as KK. KK is a cosmopolitan, vibrant city of over 600,000 people. It is a place of political and economic power. Recorded history goes back to the 15th century, when KK was known as part of the Bruneian Empire. The real challenge now for the political parties and coalitions is whose empire will be able to rule in KK. Because this cosmopolitanism and the variation of different ethnic communities that exist along the West Coast will help to shape what's happening along politics of these many, many hot seats. We see a dynamic in the history where different communities talked about KK very differently. The Dusun talked about the phrase Rondong. The phrase Kota Kinabalu comes from the reference to Mount Kinabalu, which goes back to Pintasan discourse. We also see Hakka community using the phrase Api, referring to what happened in the colonial past, where in the late 19th century, the Baja warrior Matsai fought against the British and fought back against the encroaching power, forcing them to relocate their base onto the mainland, away from Kulogaya. This fighting back, standing up, is something that has long been part of KK and Sabah's political history. Keep in mind that Sabah is a place that has stood up for itself multiple times, has had a long-standing battle in its political dynamics with the federal power, but also internally because of the high level of competition. Other phrases that are known for KK is under the coconut tree, the Gajau phrase that speaks to Diosoka. Other phrases like Singamata, which is the transit eye, referring to its transitory nature. All of these things can be found in the street names and the discourse and the pockets of different communities of people who live in KK. When we look at Kota Kinabalu and look at the West Coast, we must remember it's about this center that people are trying to win over. In this conversation about the West Coast, I'd like to pull out a few important themes. When we talked about the East Coast, we talked about the Chinese swing. The Chinese swing will be very important in key seats in the West Coast. Api-Api, Kapayan, Inanam. These will impact fortunes of different coalitions. But I'd like to focus in on something else, and that is the dynamics that are happening among the Karasan Dusun Murut Rubus communities, the KDM swing in particular. The KDM votes are very important in many seats, especially in the northern part of the West Coast. Seats like Inanam, Kapayan, Moyok. We can see these dynamics of the KDM swing will be important, especially in close races. Seats like Ketagas, even Usukan, all areas that will be impacted by the KDM swing. We've seen in the campaign the KDM leaders coming together, raising issues about standing up to the federal power. We see two prominent KDM leaders, Jeffrey Kittingham and Iwan Benedict, taking positions about Sabah rights. So we can see these sentiments are very strong. We'll be watching closely the certain seats that I'll be picking out, what to understand and think about the KDM swing. Traditionally, the Karasan Dusun vote has been divided. The question is whether or not it will be more unified. The other party that I have to mention with the KDM is the traditional and historic PBS. A second factor that I want to look at is generational politics. We have a lot of young candidates going against older stalwarts, many new contenders. And this generation dynamic is very important when we look at the youth vote in shaping behavior. This issue will matter in a lot of the seats where they're seen to bring new blood. Many voters I speak to highlight the need to engage somebody new, somebody of their generation, especially among the younger generation of voters. So this generational factor, voting behavior and voting patterns of support, I think are going to be very interesting to watch. Along the West Coast, we also have a third factor, different ethnic sentiments. We have different ethnic composition. The Brunei, Malays along the West Coast, places like Beaufort, it closes down to Sipitang, seats like Pulau Pinyu, Lumadan. We also have the Bisaya community, very important in seats like Trias, even in Lumadan. Parties that seem to have these local ethnic leaders work to their advantage in terms of being able to win support. We also have ethnic communities that are smaller, such as the Inanam in a seat like Pintasan. Other groups, the Kadayan, among others, become very important in helping to understand West Coast politics. Finally, I want to talk about a fourth dimension in this conversation, the role of the father. The father is very important in shaping politics. Many of the younger generational candidates are the son of prominent politicians. This was true in the interior, but it's all equally true in the seats on the West Coast. Will the role of the father be able to overshadow or help to pull the son as he contests the very fierce races? The final point is about what type of candidate people choose. Do they choose a candidate that is based on the policy prescriptions, based on fulfilling sentiment, or do they find a candidate that is able to provide local services? There's a tension along the West Coast among voters who are interested in having someone who's local and accessible and someone who actually speaks to the broader ambitions of Sabahans and the governance of communities in that constituency. 6 hot seats that I'm focusing on, going from the north to the south of the West Coast. I'm going to start with the seat of Pintasan. It's garnered a tremendous amount of attention because GRS has fielded a very old stalwart, former Speaker of the House and Federal Parliament. This really upset the GRS base. The incumbent is now running as an independent, Virus Rendan. He is promoting his accomplishments that he had while he was in office. He was known for his youth engagement and actually having a deliverable, so we could see in Pintasan, next to the beautiful Pintasan beach, very intense conversation about whether or not people want a politician of the past or the politician of the future. VN is also in the running in this 11-corner race. Tatsul Radid is going to be a player who has been also garnering support, tapping into local dynamics. It's always interesting to recognize that all of these candidates had their roots in UMNO. This is interesting to see how they are able to tap into local ethnic identities. You can see that KDM and the Inanam vote has been split. We'll see how features of swings can actually shape the outcome. Another very important hot seat is Tamparuli. Tamparuli is located not too far. It is a fascinating place. Traditionally, you have a large number of Dusun communities, a large Christian community that is varied among the different churches. In this seat, we can see almost 13-corner fight. The main contenders are between the incumbent PBS party, who has a new candidate, Boniface Bonaventure against UPCO's Marius Tangau, who is the MP for the area, but also representing the Sabah First Movement, UPCO. We see others like the son of the previous candidate, but they're not really in the major contender list. If there's anyone left in the major contender list, sometimes some of the voters will speak about the KDM candidate, James Lukapis. There's also mention of the Warasan candidate, Dr. Joseph Lee, who has local standing as a professional in the community. But it is the sifting process that's come through. This is a very interesting and illustrative seat of the issues of the KDM swing, how it will go and where it will go. PBS, working in the GRS coalition, opted for a more safe position for the party, choosing to work as part of the Hajiji government. They have taken a more low-key approach in pushing for local dynamics. They are a historic and traditionally important local party for Sabah, but they have not been very much on the front line of this contest compared to UPCO and STAR. So this has created its own sense of dynamism. The candidate, Dr. Boniface, is building on the traditional core supporters. It will be interesting to see in this close race whether or not UPCO is able to swing the vote in their favor, given their campaign on the ground, or whether or not PBS will be able to win over, having chosen a path that is more conservative. Not too far away is the seat of Karambunai. Karambunai got a lot of attention for a whole series of reasons. It is the seat where PAS has the strongest candidate. PAS is using the Pertan National logo, so many people don't even know that the party is PAS. But the man, Alibakbar Gulasam, is being backed by tremendous support from PAS, although, interestingly enough, you don't see the usual green garb that you find in the past in this seat. Gulasam is running against the incumbent who won by the smallest margin in the 2020 state elections, Jacob Han. He's from UMNO BN. Warasan is also slating Abad Jais Oto. There are three major contenders in this 11-corner race. Karambunai is interesting because it's located near UMS, the main university, Sabah. It also has a lot of younger people. There's been a lot of youth mobilization in this seat. It's also a very ethnically diverse constituency. Then we could see where these issues of mobilization of voters, local identities, the generational dynamic in terms of voting, whether or not people want someone who's been around for a long time or they're looking for someone different. I now turn to the fourth seat that I think is very interesting to watch. Again, I am going further south, moving into the urban areas, and that is the seat of Inanam. Inanam is a multi-corner contest. There are 13 people contesting for this seat. Everybody is trying their luck. This gives the advantage to the incumbent Pito Galim from PKR, who's being backed heavily by federal resources and Anwar Ibrahim's government. The lead contenders are essentially four, besides Pito. Etna Majuban, she is part of a very important political family in Sabah. Star is running a former representative of this seat, Kenny Chua. We also have Dr. Roel Cha, who's running as an independent. He's seen to be strong in some areas. This is the seat that I would like to pull out the role of the KDM swing. We'll see both the Chinese and the KDM swing be a force here, whether or not the Chinese move to Warasan, whether or not the KDM stay with Pito or they move elsewhere. This will determine the future of a very hotly contested urban seat, such as Inanam. The fifth seat that I'd like to highlight is the seat that is further south in the area known as Bongawan. Bongawan has its own unique type of identity. Old Kampong, a small town, is near in part of the parliamentary district of Camarines. It is not a surprise in this 9-corner race. The man who has tried to get political power from Camarines many times, Anifa Aman, is running for GRS, also an older stalwart. He's running against the popular incumbent from Warasan, Dr. Daud Yusuf, known for his grassroots politics. We also see a member of parliament running for a state seat from UMNO, Muhammad Alamin, also known for his accessibility. What is interesting about all three of these candidates is that it's this issue about what type of candidate do people want. Do they want someone like Daud, who quickly comes on his motorbike to solve all the problems of the fires out of the local area? He's from the local area. Or do you want someone who's more policy-minded, such as Muhammad Alamin? Or do you want someone who is known for his long roots and connections as a long-seasoned politician, such as Anifa, connected to the governor as his brother? It's going to be an interesting seat to watch in this constituency, and it's quite hot. But nowhere net less, however, is the 6th seat that I want to speak to, and that is the seat of Sindumin in Sikatang. This is a hot seat because it was heavily contested in the deal making. Ultimately, the deal seemed to have favored PKR, reducing the level of competitiveness. The candidate in Pintasan is a man called Yamani Hafiz Aman, who is the son of Musa Aman. His children are running in 2 seats. His family are running in a total of 8. The main contender is a Warasan candidate, Yusri Pungut, a lawyer. The campaign has been quite heated, a lot of money. But this is also a 10-corner fight, and it showcases the different representatives among the Kadayan community, a very important community in southern Sabah. Also, the Lumayan group, which is also very important in the more remote parts of Sindumin constituency. This dynamic of what type of representative, what representative based on close connections, the generational issues of whether or not you want the older leaders or the new, what type of things that people stand for and how they connect to their voters, how the different communities are going to be unified or not, especially the KDN, will impact the West Coast. The West Coast has so many hot seats. I could have chosen so many others, especially in the urban areas. Seats like Api-Api, Tanjung Aru, and other seats in the more outside or semi-rural areas such as Busukan, which involves another seasoned politician, Saleh Kerouak. But in understanding Sabah politics, it's these complexities, these various issues that come together. We're going to see how this plays out. We look now at which party will be shaping the empire. There are many cosmopolitan political parties and cosmopolitan groups trying to win power here. KK will be where the action will be in the discussions after the elections. But for now, the action remains in the individual seats. So many of them that I couldn't even talk about. KK may have lots of rain, but it is politically very hot, as is the West Coast. Thank you for joining me here on Kerusi Panas Sabah, and I look forward to having the final conversations in the next episode, looking at the broader and bigger picture of what this election is all going to be all about. This is Bridget Welsh, on the field in Sabah.